Welcome to the notes on isosceles, equilateral, and right triangles. Today we're going to learn a couple quick theorems and then a couple really important theorems that we're going to use throughout this year, and then a couple quick examples. So here we go. First, we have an isosceles triangle. So remember, the sides that are congruent we refer to as the legs, and there's those tick marks there that show that they're congruent. So those are the legs. All right, these are the base angles down at the bottom. All right. And then we've got the vertex angle up here on blue. Again, blue is opposite of the base here. Okay, so those are the parts of an isosceles triangle. Going to be really important here. Now, here's the first theorem. We're going to use this a ton. It's a theorem and it's converse or the opposite. So isosceles base angles theorem. All right, if we have two sides that are congruent, okay, here's our tick marks. Then guess what? Those base angles are going to be congruent. Okay, again, we just learned what base angles are. And then it's the opposite. It's also true. If we know that the base angles are congruent, then guess what? So are the sides. We're going to use that a ton, you'll see, as we move forward. All right, and then the equilateral triangle theorem, very similar. Well, now, if you know that not only are two sides, but all three sides are the same, well, guess what? Then all three angles are going to be the same. And we know that all the angles in a triangle add up to what? 180. So we just divide 180 by 3. Every equilateral triangle has 60-degree angles. Oops, I'm going to write that a little bit cleaner. 60 degrees. All those angles are going to be 60 degrees based off what we know about our triangle properties. All right, now that we know those theorems, all right, let's take a quick example. They're going to ask you for find the value of x and y. Now, we've got two separate variables, so we're going to have to use what we already know. Well, we see these tick marks right here. Since those are congruent, guess what? Our base angles are going to be congruent. So y is just going to be 73 degrees. It's that easy. It's the same as the other one since the sides are the same. Well, now that we know that, to find x, all right, x, this angle right here, okay, we call that, again, that would be our vertex angle. What do we know all the angles of a triangle add up to? That's right, 180. So we're going to say x plus 73 equals 180. Again, all the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. We're going to use that over and over. X plus 146 equals 180. We're going to subtract the 146. Do that in red here. Subtract the 146. So X is going to equal 34 degrees. So there's X, and there was Y right there, using those properties. Okay, here's the last property, then we'll do one more example. So perpendicular bisector of the base of an isosceles triangle. So if AB is congruent to AC, so AB is right here, there's one tick mark, there's AC. If those are congruent, and angle 1 and 2 are congruent, that means it's been bisected. Okay, there's angle 1 and 2 being bisected by this line right here. Then AD is a perpendicular bisector of BC. So then we know that it forms a right angle, and then we know that these two segments right here will also be congruent. So again, isosceles triangle with a perpendicular bisector. Now we know that how that will divide up the triangle into those equal parts. So here's our last example. There's an isosceles triangle. How do I know it's an isosceles? Because of these tick marks right here and here. Okay, these angles right here are congruent. So we know that, all right, we're going to use that property we just used, angle bisector of a isosceles triangle. We know that that is going to become a perpendicular bisector, so we know that this is going to be 90 degrees, and so is this angle right here, but I don't need to put both those, I only need to put one. All right, and I know that this is going to be the same degrees. It's going to be x degrees. They're going to be the same. So if I want to find x, I know all the angles have to add up to 180, so I say 51 plus 90, okay, plus x is going to equal 180. Again, I could also put 51 here. I know this is going to be 51 because since these legs are congruent, the base angles are going to be congruent. And again, I also know that that's going to be 90 on that side as well. So once I do that, I'm going to get 50 plus 91 is 141 plus x equals 180. Subtract the 141. And then x is just going to equal 39 degrees. And that's our final answer. So there's our properties on isosceles, equilateral, and right triangles.